Welcome to Cyclins, where we decode love, lust, and distractions with real psychology and clarity. When people talk about controlling love, lust, and distractions, they often imagine it as some battle between good and bad emotions, as if the heart is trying to betray the mind. But the truth is far more subtle. These experiences, falling in love, feeling lust, getting distracted, are part of being human. They are natural responses shaped by biology, psychology, and personal history. The real challenge isn't in suppressing them, but in learning how to manage them so they work with our goals instead of against them. Understanding the mechanics of how these emotions work inside us is the first step toward control. Love, for instance, is often romanticized as a feeling that sweeps you off your feet, something that just happens and takes control of your life. But psychologists see love as a mixture of emotional bonding, shared experiences, trust, and sometimes attraction. It's partly chemical. Yes, dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin do play roles. But it's also built from repeated choices, to care, to trust, to commit. This means love grows in the soil you prepare for it. When someone says, "I fell in love instantly," what often happens is intense attraction or infatuation, which can develop into love later if mutual care and respect are nurtured. Without that, it fades. That's why understanding the difference between love and its lookalikes, lust, infatuation, emotional dependency, gives you the power to respond rather than be consumed. Lust is simpler but trickier in some ways. It is raw, driven by biology, designed for physical attraction and reproduction, though in modern life it extends beyond survival. Lust is not inherently wrong, it can be part of a healthy relationship. But problems arise when lust takes the driver's seat. When the pull of physical desire overrides judgment, values, or long-term well-being. For example, someone might stay in a relationship that lacks respect or emotional connection, just because the physical chemistry is intense. Or they might pursue someone completely incompatible with their values, simply because desire blinds them to red flags. The issue isn't lust itself, it's letting it control decisions better guided by reason and self-awareness. To manage lust, you first need to recognize it for what it is. A temporary emotional and physical state, not a command. This pause between feeling and acting is where control lives. Say you meet someone attractive and you feel that rush of desire. Instead of jumping into decisions, you mentally label it, "This is lust." That simple act of naming creates distance. Psychologists call this technique affect labeling. It reduces the intensity of emotions by bringing them into conscious awareness. Over time, this practice helps you separate impulse from action. You learn to ask, does acting on this desire align with my values? Will it lead to regret or growth? That pause doesn't kill attraction, it makes sure you steer it wisely. Love, on the other hand, asks for presence and patience. It's not built in moments of overwhelming emotion alone, but in the quieter decisions to stay, to care, to listen, even when it's inconvenient. Many people confuse the rush of early attraction with love, only to feel disappointed when intensity fades. But psychologists explain that the early honeymoon phase naturally cools as the brain adjusts to constant dopamine highs. What replaces it, if two people choose, is deeper attachment, trust, and partnership. Understanding this keeps you from chasing constant novelty in relationships or mistaking fading intensity as fading love. Real love is less about constant fireworks and more about building a fire that keeps you warm for years. Now, distractions, these are the silent killers of both love and self-control. In the age of constant notifications, endless entertainment, and social media, distractions fragment attention like never before. They amplify lust by feeding endless images and fantasies, and they weaken love by pulling you out of the present moment with your partner or even with yourself. Imagine trying to build intimacy while checking your phone every few minutes or comparing your relationship to curated images of others online. Your mind is split, never fully here, always chasing something else. Psychologists call this attentional residue. The brain stays partly stuck on the last thing it saw, so it's never fully present with the current moment. Managing distractions starts with awareness. Notice what pulls your attention most. Instagram, old messages from someone, late-night browsing. These habits shape emotions more than people realize. For example, someone constantly consuming romanticized content may feel dissatisfied with real relationships because reality can't compete with fantasy. Similarly, constant sexualized media can overstimulate desire, making real-life connections feel dull. By limiting exposure, setting app timers, muting notifications, or creating no-phone zones, you reduce triggers that hijack emotions before you even notice them. But removing distractions isn't enough. You need to replace them with presence. This is where mindfulness comes in. Mindfulness doesn't mean sitting on a mountain meditating for hours. It means training your mind to notice thoughts and feelings without instantly reacting. When lust rises, mindfulness helps you feel it without letting it dictate your behavior. When love grows, mindfulness keeps you present with your partner instead of lost in comparisons or future worries. Even simple habits, like fully focusing on a conversation, eating without screens, or taking slow breaths when emotions spike, rewire the brain over time for better emotional control. Real-life examples make this clear. Take Ahmed, who constantly jumped into relationships driven by physical chemistry. They burned bright but crashed quickly, leaving him confused. Through therapy, he realized he never paused to ask what he truly valued in a partner: kindness, stability, shared goals. By practicing that pause and labeling lust when it appeared, he learned to wait before committing, to know the person beyond attraction. His relationships became fewer but deeper because he wasn't chasing every spark. Or consider Sarah, who loved her partner but felt distant because she was always distracted. By work emails, by social media, by constant entertainment. Her partner complained she wasn't there, even when physically present. Sarah started small. Phone-free dinners, short daily walks together, mindfulness exercises before bed. Within months, the relationship felt alive again because attention, the rarest gift today, was back. Love needs presence like fire needs oxygen. Distractions suffocate it. Another key tool is understanding your triggers. Psychologists often ask clients to track situations where emotions feel overwhelming. Maybe late nights make you more likely to text someone you shouldn't. Maybe loneliness after work pushes you toward quick romantic or physical fixes. Maybe boredom fuels endless scrolling that leads to comparison and dissatisfaction. Once you know triggers, you can plan around them. Call a friend after work, exercise in the evenings, keep devices out of reach at night. Control grows when you design environments that support your goals instead of testing your willpower constantly. Boundaries also play a big role. Many people struggle because they fear saying no. No to desires, no to others, no to distractions. But every yes is also a no to something else. Saying yes to constant temptation often means saying no to self-respect or long-term goals. Boundaries with yourself might mean limiting late-night chats that lead nowhere good. Boundaries with others might mean slowing down physical intimacy until trust and respect are clear. Boundaries with technology might mean fixed offline hours daily. Far from limiting freedom, boundaries create the space where real love and focus can grow. It's also important to separate feelings from identity. You might feel intense lust or distraction, but that doesn't mean this is who I am. Psychologists teach clients to use phrases like, "I notice I'm feeling desire," instead of "I am this desire." That tiny language shift reminds you emotions are temporary states, not commands or definitions of character. You can feel something strongly without obeying it. Over time, these practices build what's called emotional regulation, the ability to experience emotions fully without being overwhelmed or controlled by them. This doesn't kill passion or attraction. It refines them. Love becomes a conscious choice, not just a rush. Lust becomes part of connection, not chaos. Attention becomes a gift you control, not something stolen by every distraction. Ultimately, controlling love, lust, and distractions isn't about cold self-denial. It's about living intentionally. It's deciding what kind of relationships you want, what values you hold, what future you're building, and then making sure emotions serve those goals instead of sabotaging them. It's realizing you can feel attraction without acting impulsively. You can love without losing yourself. You can use technology without being used by it. And the truth is, this control grows gradually. Some days you'll slip. You'll get distracted. You'll chase the wrong impulse. You'll ignore a boundary. That's normal. What matters is reflecting afterward without shame. What triggered this? What need was I trying to meet? How can I respond differently next time? Each reflection strengthens the ability to pause, to choose, to align actions with values. In the end, the goal isn't to suppress love or lust or to eliminate every distraction. It's to master them enough that they enrich rather than control your life. Love should bring depth, not chaos. Lust should bring energy, not regret. Attention should build presence, not restlessness. When you cultivate awareness, boundaries, mindfulness, and values, you stop being a passenger of every feeling and become the driver of your own emotional life. That's real control, not a battle against emotions, but a partnership with them, where reason and feeling work together rather than tearing you apart.